people. Let's do one more. Let's go. Just keep it moving. Y'all look okay. Y'all are amazing. Give it up for yourselves. This is great. Y'all are pretty good. Your next comedian has an album out right now. Nice Jokes for Smart People. Give it up for Arthur Gaus.
Why? Because, like, it keeps all my fucking British people away. No British people in San Francisco in 2021. Why? Delta variant. That's right. No English fucking people. And if you think that's not a good thing, consider the fact that if there's one thing that the universe, the whole world agrees on, is that the last 500 years, if there's anything we need less of, is English people traveling the globe and talking shit. Right? That's it. And why did they do it? Because they think they're smarter than us. They think they're better than us. They think they have better taste, despite the fact that their food is fucking terrible. Right? I don't know if you've ever seen what English people eat, but I have an English friend, and she gave me a can of something called lunch tongue.
Ew!
Yeah, what the fuck is lunch tongue? Well, glad you asked. I'm telling you, lunch tongue is tongue from a can for lunch, okay? That is what it is. It's tongue from a can for lunch. And on the label of the lunch tongue, it had a little sticker. And do you know what that sticker said? It said, hand-packed with added water and gelatin. Yeah, I know, because what? The only thing more appetizing than eating tongue from a can for lunch is tongue from a can for lunch. The tongue having gotten into the can by virtue of the efforts of some fool named Nigel, who's like, well, every day I go off to me job, and I've got two conveyor belts. You know, this conveyor belt comes to tin can, and this conveyor belt comes to tongue, and I pick up the tongue with me bare hands, and I smash it into the can as best I can, and knock off whatever cigarette ash or rat hair is falling onto it, and then with whatever room is left over, I add water and gelatin. I understand that like British people think they're smarter than it because like hey, there's two like do you ever watch British nature documentaries? Yeah, like Planet Earth. Yeah, like Planet Earth is so tight, right? Because they have two versions, right? They've got the British version narrated by noted naturalist David Attenborough, right? And then they've got the American version narrated by noted naturalist Sigourney Weaver, right? And these two versions are identical, right? With one key exception. In the British version, they just tell you how big things are. Now, the fjords of Norway rise over 300 meters about the way down, right? In the American version, they tell you how big things are, and then they tell you what that means in terms of how many football fields, right? The fjords of Norway rise over 300 meters above the waves below, and Americans are like, what? That's a distance of over 3 football fields. Wow! Down in the tidal pools below, a baby seahorse draws in its first breath. At the moment of its first life, it is less than 3 millimeters from nose to tip. What? That's less than 1/10 of 1/1000th of 1 football field. Wow! Do you guys like Maury Povich? I do. Here's the thing, I watched this one episode of Maury Povich where the whole episode was just kids with rare genetic diseases. That was the show. And they had this one kid, and he had this disease called progeria. And here's what progeria is. It's a disease where a child, for every 1 year they age chronologically, they physically age 8 or 9 years, like, in their body, right? So these kids were like 8 or 9, and they looked and kind of acted like they were like 65, 72, something like that, you know what I mean? And that's really sad for those kids. Right? You know who else it's really sad for? Is kids who grew up in those kids' neighborhood growing up, right? Because, like, how'd you have a kid with progeria in your little suburban cul-de-sac? Your mom would be like, you know, you have to go outside and play with Timmy. You can't exclude him.
Oh, my God.
You're fine, Mom. You're like, okay, Timmy, it doesn't matter if you have progeria. You can still come down and play with us. We can still be fine. And Timmy would be up in his room like, get off the goddamn lawn! So this is why I should tell you that I just had a kid, right? I'm a dad. Like, you have sufficient new dad energy, right? Here's the thing. I grew up in San Francisco, and now I have a kid in San Francisco, and people think that's weird. I don't think that's particularly weird because I grew up here, right? And I understand that like I have to make some adjustments. Like I'm not gonna be able to teach kids about farm animal noises in San Francisco, right? You know what I mean? But like I just have to make adjustments. Like I'll show you what I do. Like I was changing the kids' diaper one time and it was just like this is like wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round and round. The old lady on the bus says, "Hey back door, hey back door, hey back door." The schizophrenic on the bus. You think I'm crazy, but you want to pay $6 for a cup of coffee?
Hey, back door. Back door.
Back door. Here's the thing. I don't like. Here's number one thing. Okay. If you want to talk to me after the show, that's fine. If you want to ask me if the baby's a boy or a girl, it's a girl. It's fine. You can do that. Don't feel weird about that because people in San Francisco feel so weird about asking the kids gender. I had this one woman when my wife was still pregnant.
What?
Do you know? She goes, "Do you know what? No, not that. Do you know what? No, not gender." She goes, "Do you know what style of baby you're having?" I was like, "Well, my wife is hoping for Italian neorealism." Here's the thing, but here's what you should not do. If I talk about my baby, here's what you should not do. Do not use it as a springboard to talk about your dog.
I always will.
Alright, because like they're just not the same motherfucking thing. Alright? Like the people are always like, "Oh wow, baby, that's a lot of responsibility." But I know about responsibility too because I have a puppy. And I'm like, "Oh, cool. So did you have trouble going back to work when you were still breastfeeding your puppy?" Right? It's not the same thing. Like for example, right, if you call me up to go over to your house to meet your new dog, and then 6 months later you call me up again and I go like to visit your like dog, but like I go over and there's no dog and no explanation. Like I might have some questions around the edges, right?